Oh, hello there. You've caught me doing one of my favourite things. Yes, reading my amazing new book. Transformation, Volume 1. A personal journey through the British Transformers comic, 1984 to 1987. Very catchy title. Spent a lot of time working on that with various focus groups. Now, you're probably wondering, what is this book about? Even though the title is fairly explicit, well, it's quite simple. For the last 3 years up on my website, every week on a Friday, I have been going through the British Marvel UK Transformers comic, issue by issue, at roughly the pace it was originally released, writing about the contents, not just the lead comic strip itself, but the editorials, the letters page, the adverts, created a sense of how much of a community portal this comic was, and what it says about the state of the British comics industry at the time, especially Marvel UK. And there's a lot of terrible knob jokes as well, at a very immature level. So it casts a wide net, serious discussion of 1980s popular culture and incredibly silly humour. Occasionally the odd serious bit, but not too much of that. But I've been doing that for 3 years now. Obviously there's just over 6 years worth of comic to cover, and I thought sort of towards the end of last year it'd be quite nice to collect some of this material in a book. I've often had a hankering to be an author, and during the 90s I was a great fan of the various episode and film guides put out by Virgin Books, so I thought it'd be quite nice to do something like that. But it hasn't just been a case of taking the material from the website and just put it in a book. That'd be lazy and easy. No, instead everything's been gone through again. It's been revised, it's been expanded, particularly with the earlier issues where I didn't talk so much about the various backup strips. Every instalment of Machine Man, every instalment of Matt the Cat, every instalment of Robo-Capers is now covered by the book. And there are additional entries as well, new entries, just by looking at the contents page. The addendums, sort of things that look at additional Transformers or associated medium. There are now new ones on Scream, the comic Simon Furman worked on before Transformers, the Transformers cartoon, the Night the Transformers Save Christmas, a short American comic that was given away with a woman's magazine, and a proper written entry on Transformers the movie. For the website I did a YouTube video that was shot in as nearly an amazing fashion as this one. That wouldn't work so well in a book. So instead I've filmed something, written something on the film. And I've also took advantage with the book of my readership, who over the 3 years have been very helpful in giving me additional information, making corrections, pointing out awful typos, of which there were very many. There probably still are very many, but they are a different source and class of typo now. To correct things, to alter things, hopefully the book, I think anyway, hopefully the people who read it will think as well, is a considerably superior product to the website version. The only real advantage the website version has is that it's fully illustrated with panels from the comic to make points. But though we couldn't use any of that for the book, my good and learned friend Andrew Turnbull, who designed the book and did all the editing, has provided some very nice chapter point illustrations. There's one of Blaster having his message tossed to him by Scrouge. And there are 4 of those in the book, recreating imagery from the comic. For, of course, if anybody asks, officially this is just a Rorschach inkblot test, and if you haven't seen any Transformers characters in these images, that is just you. That's quite a nice one that may look like Galvatron lording it up over Ultra Magnus. To you may think that. I couldn't possibly say so. It's very dense text, it's 304 pages. I believe it worked out at about 196,000 words. Maybe an extra zero in there. But if anyone who's read the About Time books on Doctor Who will be able to work out where the layout style has come from. So it's absolutely packed to bursting with detail. And though this is a self-publishing work, it's been done entirely by people with other jobs working around it. It's not just me, of course. Andrew Turnbull, as I said, did the designing. My good friend Stuart Denyer gave the text what he calls a light going over, but which I call an incredibly thorough going over, mainly for the sake of my ego, because if that was a light going over, God knows how many of the mistakes there were in there, but he did an awful lot of work on the text. I'm sure there still are mistakes in there. In fact, I've now found out there's one on the back cover. Anyone who spots one on the back cover wins a prize, and that prize is the prize of making me cry. If that is what you want, you cruel and heartless people. But hopefully, it is up to at least a reasonably professional standard. You get your money's worth. And I would hope it will become seen as the definitive work on the British comic. What it isn't is a fully traditional episode guide. There are not plot synopses, there are not credits. I do note who wrote and drew each strip. There's not notations and all that. It's the TF Wiki guide does that very well. The TF Archive guide does that very well. Though I occasionally poke fun at both of them in the book. And indeed, someone I know is actually working on a book for a proper publisher that will do just that, the entire comic. I won't say who or which publisher, because they're still working on it now. And it's not been formally announced yet, but hopefully within the next year or so, that will come to pass. So I felt that took the burden off me a bit to add those things in to my book. What you do get though, and if you've not seen the website, what each entry is the personal thoughts on the strip. It's incredibly biased, it's incredibly subjective, it makes no pretense to neutrality, but equally it doesn't invalidate anybody else's different opinions. There's certainly been a lot of good back and forth discussion on the website over the last 3 years of people who think different things. It's just my overall thoughts and gut instinct on the entire issue, its qualities, its themes, things that may be homogene. This week's entry of the website, there's been a piece on the influence a James Bond novel might have had on Story Meltdown, for example, and there's a lot of things like that in the book as well. There's lots of information, of course, about the background to the comic, which I've shamelessly used James Roberts' Classics UK guidebooks as a basis for that, but also various convention talks, obviously given by the different creators, writers, artists. There's obviously Simon Ferber, but also Bob Budiansky. I've been lucky enough to attend a talk by him, plus various interviews they've done on podcasts and whatnot over the years. So I've hopefully conveyed a lot of information, some of which you may not have heard before, and also about things that the letters page tells you about the comic, and the sort of general state of Marvel UK at the time as a whole. It's something I'm incredibly proud of. It's that may make it sound like quite a dry read, but hopefully it's an entertaining read. Certainly if you go to the website and give it a look, it'll give you very much idea of what the tone is like. A good way of sampling before you buy. This is up to mid-1987, this book, just the end of May, issue 112, because that is just about a third of the way through the comic. Just slightly over to end on a completed story rather than halfway through one. If everything goes well, if I don't die horribly before I get that far, Volume 2 will be up to issue 222, and the end of Race with the Devil, which is actually quite a nice end point, because that's the last British story to have been written as 11-page instalments, even though it wasn't published that way, so effectively that is the end of an era moment. and then volume 3 up to issue 332. And probably the UK Generation 2 comic as well. That will depend on whether there will be the potential in a volume 4. Because I'm now almost certainly committed with a website for going on past the end of Marvel UK and doing the Panini and Titan stuff as well. Though I will do that for a website, I'm just not sure if there's be any interest in a book, because let's face it, nobody really cares about those other comics. I'm sort of almost doing a test with websites how far I can get in to the Titan Prime comic before nobody's reading it. But yeah, there might be a book there as well. But certainly all the Marvel UK material will be in the first 3 volumes. Unless I completely break Andrew Turnbull and Stuart Denyer with corrections and cover design for the next 2. I'm hugely proud of it. If you look in the description, you'll find a link to a sales page on my website that will take you to the Lulu page that is selling it. Currently at £15. One thing I should also say is that Lulu do discount codes throughout the year on a fairly regular basis. So if you buy from Lulu, I'd recommend Googling their discount codes, see what comes up, if there's a current one. By the time you watch this, it might be available on Amazon as well. That takes about, if you'll see this in the future, hello people in the future, it's been put in for full distribution, because Lulu do that for you. That takes about 2 months. Then hopefully that'll be on Amazon as well. That link will be on the sales page on the website as well. If you've an interest in Transformers, in British comics, in pop culture phenomenons, I mean, it's easy to forget how immeasurably successful this book was. It was vying with 2000 AD. At its peak, it did have a massive influence on a generation of readers. And it's a pleasure to celebrate it in book form now. If you like any of those things, there will probably be something in this book for you. And I hope people who are watching this and haven't been to the website before do go check it out as well. It'll get you ahead of me, ahead of a book rather. Currently up to the end of the zombie storyline, and we'll be starting on Deadly Games in a week or so. So plenty of exciting stuff going on there as we reach the midpoint of 1988. And around the time I started actually reading the comic as well, the first time around. So lots of exciting stuff to come there. So, in a nutshell, this book I am insanely proud of. And I'd love feedback as well. Lulu give you the option of adding reviews. You can leave comments on the website if you like, on the latest blog, any of the latest blog posts if you read it. Be honest, I'm perfectly capable of taking constructive criticism, especially when it comes to typos and mistakes in sentences, because there are bound to be plenty I've missed, I will admit. Hopefully you'll still read quite well. But if you disagree with anything as well, I'd love to hear back from you about that as well. If you have an alternate take, certainly as much as I am very confident in my writing, I don't profess to not be up for good fun discussion on alternate viewpoints. So it's £50 on Lulu. If anybody watching this is going to Auto Assembly and you're interested in picking up a copy from me at Auto Assembly, I'll be selling them there for £10. So you can contact me via Twitter at Inflatable Dalek. Swap contact details so I can get a hold of you at the convention. I'm happily sign copies as well, like a crazy proper author. And basically anyone at that convention will just see me walking around with a box of books going, buy my book, buy my book. Like some sort of crazy man. I don't know why that might give that impression, but I've got a feeling it will. And my next video will be the Torchwood one. There will be less shameless advertising of books in that. A lot more, dear God, what are they thinking on Miracle Day. Everybody take care. And those of you going to Auto Assembly, I will see you there in 3 weeks now.